Picture this scenario. You're in conversation with someone that you find really attractive. Boy, girl, whatever you're into. No judgment here. But the point is, like, you want to make a good impression on this person, and you don't want to come off as weird. You don't want to come off as weird, but you start stuttering, you have voice cracks, you don't know what to say. You want to say something, but you just cannot get it out. I'm gonna tell you guys a story, and I haven't told anyone this story mainly because I feel very embarrassed, or I felt very embarrassed and ashamed that this happened, but I'm happy that it happened because I learned a lot from this story, and I wanted to share it with you guys. And I also wanted to say real quick, this isn't to fuel my ego or anything like that. Actually, I didn't get the girl in this story. The way that I acted was the reason why I didn't get the girl. And yeah, I'm sharing the story because I learned a lot from it. So yeah, and I haven't told anyone the story, not even my mom. So yeah, that's how you know it's bad. It was about 3 years ago. I was transitioning between middle school and high school. I was coming from 8th grade to my 9th grade year. And I just moved, and this move was one of the biggest moves in my life because I spent my elementary school and my middle school career in this one town, and I moved to a different town that was nearby, but it had this like whole new community, whole new atmosphere that I was not used to at the time. Yeah, this was a big move because I made all these friends in this town that I was in before, and I had to come into this brand new one and basically do it again, and I've never had to do that before. So it was a very uncomfortable experience, Basically, I moved there, and then my mom is getting me registered to go to this new school, and getting all the paperwork ready for me to start going to this new high school that I wouldn't have been going to if I was still in my old county. And I'm not going to say the name of the town, the city, or the state just for privacy reasons. But basically she got that set up, and I was all set in stone to go to this new high school. And what happened was, my mom recommended me to go to this marching band camp as this extracurricular activity to get me out there and start meeting these new students I'm going to be going to school with, potentially meet new friends, make new connections, all that good stuff. And then at this point, I was like very uncomfortable. I didn't want to do this. I was outside of my comfort zone, and I just didn't feel, like I said before, I didn't feel comfortable going into a new community and starting over. But I thought about it more and thought about how much it could benefit me. So eventually, I was just like, yeah, sure, why not? I was a percussionist at the time, and I still am. I bang on the drums every now and again. Yeah, I played percussion through elementary school and middle school. So I thought, like, just going into it, I can meet the new percussionist that I'm going to be in class with, because I actually ended up taking a class called percussion, and it was only percussionists. So yeah, that was really fun. I'm glad that I did that, but in this moment, I did not feel happy at all. I felt actually kind of scared. But fast forward, it was that first day at band camp. I wake up, and then my mom, ends up taking me to band camp. And I remember I actually vividly remember this, going to the school. And then everyone seemed to like have a friend or, have someone that they knew. And again, that was normal because it was, normal in their community, but I was totally new. So what I did was I went straight to the percussionist, and I was like, hey, what's up? How are you guys doing? And they were all like really cool. Like they said like, hey, what's your name? And I started introducing myself. They started introducing themselves back. And yeah, every day, like around like the middle of the day, there was like, we parted for lunch, and we had this lunch break. So, and then what I did actually was I ended up sitting by myself most of the time because nothing like against the percussionists. Like they were the only group that I really talked to, but I also wasn't like friends with them yet. You know what I'm saying? So what I did was I just sat by myself, you know, out in the hallway, and this would go on for like a couple of weeks. Like I would just like sit by myself, like you know, like the meme of the kid that's sitting by themselves at lunch. That was me because I didn't really have anyone at the time. You know, I didn't in this new community. I didn't have any friends actually at all because I lost all my friends in the Alt County because, you know, my phone reset randomly and I lost all their numbers. I had to get this phone. I had to replace my phone. That was like a whole thing, man. I was actually so sad about that, but that's besides the point. But yeah, I didn't have anyone at all. I was starting to make friends with the percussionists, but we weren't friends yet, you know what I'm saying? So I sat by myself like for weeks on end, and then basically one week, I can't remember the week, but it was still really early, like in the marching band camp, you know. This group of girls came up to me, you know, sat down and started like trying to have a conversation with. I don't think I did well on this at all, you know. Even in middle school, like when I knew the girls, kind of, you know, like I would start stuttering, like I would start like have like a rock in my throat, or like I just didn't do well like at all. I've always been kind of scared like talking to girls. Now that I talk to girls fine now. This is like something that happened like in this experience that I learned from. But I was really scared of these girls at first, and then like they would start, you know, sitting next to me like every day. You know, and there's this one specific girl that always sat next to me, and like we would talk like, you know, all the time. Eventually I became more comfortable with her. They would come like every day of like for like 2 weeks. They would come up and then sit next to me, and we would talk. But like I especially talked to this one girl that sat next to me, and the other two girls were like sitting like across from each other, so they were having like their conversation, but I was sitting next to like the one girl, and I was talking to her like, hey, what's up, you know, all that stuff, you know. But eventually we had a performance test of the first movement of our 5 movements of our show. And I know that kind of sounds confusing, but that is basically what was going on. If you're not familiar with a marching band show, especially in high school, we have like 5 movements, and then you play them all like next to each other, and that's the show. Well, we were just getting to the point at this moment that we were learning the first movement, and we were doing a performance test on the first movement, and we also had like 2 or 3, you know, performance tests for each movement, but this was like the first movement. It was like a week until we had to do that first performance check. And then, you know, this girl that was like always talking to me, like when sitting next to her in lunch, all that stuff, she asked for my number. And, you know, I was a little taken aback because I was just like, I mean, maybe this girl likes me or something, but also I was still like not like counting on it, you know what I'm saying? This was actually one of the smaller moves that she made on me, so, and then, yeah, I still didn't think I had a chance with this girl, but I actually did have a chance, which we'll get into later on in the story, but she asked for my number, so I just said yes, you know. You know, I'm not gonna like say no to this girl because I actually ended up liking her, you know. The more that I you know, talking to her, and I think she liked me too. So I gave her my number, and then yeah, we started texting, and then, you know, like she even asked for my Snapchat, and then my Snapchat was just like, I rarely even used Snapchat at the time. Like I had the app on my phone, but I wasn't like, you know, on there a lot, so I kind of got, it was so awkward, like I got my phone out and I was just like, I think this is Snapchat, and she was like, just give me the phone, and like she put her Snapchat in my phone. But basically, yeah, so we started talking on Snapchat, we started doing video calls, like, I don't know if this is like a real sign that someone likes you, but we would do video calls all the time, like at night. She would like fall asleep on the call, and then yeah, and I guess that's a sign that someone likes you, like if they're like FaceTiming you that close to bedtime and they're sleepy. But yeah, we a couple weeks of that, and then every now and again I was outside. Oh, I didn't mention she played color guard, or she was in the color guard, so she had her you know, flag. I put a picture up on what color guard is, but yeah, she was in the color guard, so every now and again I was outside and she asked me to watch her, you know. I said, hey, you know, you did a good job, you know, all that stuff. And then one day when that happened, she texted me. It was so nice talking to you, and then I actually like that you watched my performance. I didn't think of anything about the words that she put in the text. But, and this sounds so corny saying it out loud, but she put that semicolon parenthesis, like that smiley face. And again, this sounds so corny saying it out loud, but I thought maybe this girl likes me. Like, I took that as a sign, kind of. Like, I'm telling you right now, she just like said that, you know, I appreciate you talking to me, and watching me do my flag. I would have said, oh, you know, okay, you know, I like doing that too. But she put that smiley face, like, it just didn't make sense to me. Why would she do that? Like, if she just, you know, she just wanted to be friends. So fast forward, it's the day before the performance test. And we were sitting there at lunch, and then basically she had to whisper this to me because her friends were right there. They were doing like a one-on-one conversation, and we were like right there. So she whispered in my ear, do you want to come with me to talk in private tomorrow after our test? And I was just like, oh, what does that even mean? Like, I mean, like, of course I said yes, but like in my mind I was just like, this has never happened to me before. Like, what is this girl trying to do right now? You know, like, because no girl has ever said that. So I said yes, and then I basically went home that night. I was feeling really happy actually on the way back home. You know, my mom picked me up, and we got like, I think we got like McDonald's or something, and then I can't even remember, but we got home, and then, you know, I went straight back to my room. We FaceTimed. I was just like, what are you, like, what do you want to talk to me in private about? And she's just like,
you're gonna find out.
and I was just like, that doesn't help me. That doesn't help me at all. Like, really anxious, I guess you can say. It was on a night that we FaceTimed all night. We actually hung up early so we can try to get some sleep to get ready for this, you know, encounter that I was going to have with this girl. Cause like I've never had that before, you know. We ended that call, like my mind was like going crazy in there trying to go to sleep, but also like my mind was like dynamite. I ran into the bathroom like 5 times to fix my hair, like wash my face, trying to look the best that I can, and then you know, go back to bed, get up again, you know, watch videos on like what can I do to look better, you know, and which they weren't doing anything. They were making me more stressed out now that I'm looking at it. And then getting up, doing push-ups. I was doing some awkward stuff, and like they try to like look better, I guess you can say, but I was really stressing myself out. I set my alarm about an hour before I needed to get up for camp. So I did that, and I put my phone down. I was not going to, you know, look at any more videos, because the people in the videos were like models. Like, they looked really good, like better than me. I didn't look anything like them. I still don't look anything like them. And I don't think this girl even wanted that. I think this girl was just like happy, or like just like about me. She liked the way I looked. And she wasn't like wanting me to be too out there, but that's what I was trying to be, if that makes sense. Like, I was like watching all these videos and stuff, but eventually I just, put my phone down, tried to go to sleep, and I said I would worry about it in the morning. And then I couldn't get to sleep. I think I got like 1 hour of sleep that whole night. And then my alarm rings the next morning. Or that one morning, or the same morning, because like I stayed up all night. And then, I don't know like if you guys experienced this, but like your alarm's ringing and you don't even know like why your alarm's ringing because you're so tired. That was me, and then it literally almost didn't feel real. Like I couldn't keep my eyes open, they were that tired, Forgot what day it was. I forgot the time of day. Man, I was really messed up. And then I laid there for about an hour. My mom came in the room, told me it's time to go. I remember I didn't even get dressed yet. I was like this. I was like laying down. I was laying down and I was just like, okay. And I got dressed really quick. We got in the car. Usually talkative to my mom. And I would talk about the day, what's happening. But today, like when she was asking me all these questions, I was giving very vague responses because like so much was going through my head. And just like, what is this girl going to do? Like, what is this girl like trying to do right now? Like at school. My mom was asking me questions. Like on the way there, I was giving like yes or no answers because I was thinking about so much stuff. I don't even know what like all that was going through my head, but it was stressing me out, to be honest. Till eventually we get to school. Art was outside, practicing for their performance test, and then I had to walk through that. So we got to school, I saw the color guard out there, she was out there. I got out of the car, go up. Our school had an incline to get to the band entrance, so that's what I did. And I saw her out there, and I was just like, she was like, hey, and stuff, and then I said something really awkward. I was just like, see you later, alligator. I don't even know, man, but it was awkward stuff. I'll tell you that. That awkward thing, she probably didn't like that, but it didn't matter because this thing, happened anyway. So I basically get inside the school. I don't know how, but I passed my performance test on an hour of sleep and, being stressed out with my mind going crazy about this girl. I actually passed my first performance test, and we had this outside, so I played the xylophone. So we wheeled the xylophone outside, and then someone recorded me doing this test, and like I was like playing the xylophone, whatever. The last percussionist, to do this, but then there were more performances happening at that time at different points in the school. Some free time afterwards because it was lunchtime. So basically we wheeled the xylophone back in, and then that's when we had this free time to do whatever we wanted, and this is when the girl wanted me to follow her to talk about something in private. The xylophone inside the band room, and I actually remember this very vividly despite being so zoned out. She came in the band room, grabbed my hand, and she started like taking me somewhere, and I was just like, what is happening right now? Like, where is this girl trying to take me? So I just like kind of let her grab my hand and like, do whatever she wanted. And she was like asking me questions like while she was walking me like a dog, and like I was just giving like very vague responses. I started trying to ask her about music or something like that, but then I was also trying to change the topic of the conversation. Like every time that she would answer, like that's how the conversation was bad, because there was no hold. Like like you would ask this, she would respond. I would say something else different, and she would do that, and then it was like back and forth, and then this was like very awkward. I felt very awkward. I think she felt very awkward too. Like when she was like holding my hand and stuff, and she was still taking me to somewhere. She was still taking me somewhere. Like I had no idea where she was taking me. When I say that I had no idea where she was taking me, I literally meant it. Cause she was like taking left, she was taking right, all that stuff. Eventually, we get to this one hidden staircase in in the school. I don't know like how she knew where this was, because you gotta remember, this girl was a freshman, and I'm a freshman. But apparently she went to this hidden staircase that not too many people knew about in the school, not even the staff. But apparently this staircase was for where kids went to do things that I probably shouldn't mention. But we got to the staircase, right? And we started going down till eventually we get to the bottom of the staircase, and it was just like this blank, you know, area that wasn't being used for anything. It was just kind of like this, you know, empty, wide open space. And she takes my hand, and I remember this like it was yesterday. She takes my hand, we get into the back of the wall, and she sits down and leans back. And I sit down too, of course, because like I have to mirror what she's doing. But I was thinking, like, is this girl trying to play with my brain right now? Like, what is happening right now? Like what is actually happening right now? So I sat down, and she starts just like looking at me. And it sounds so weird like saying this out loud, but she started looking at me. I guess trying to analyze what I was about to do, or you know, the way that I would react to this. But I was basically just so frozen, and like I was so like I guess faded out, like that I didn't know like the best course of action. So I kind of just like was staring off, like staring in front of me, if that makes sense. But she was like looking at me. Part that I still think about all these years later. Sitting there against the wall, right? And she reaches over to me, like she's about to put her hand on me. I'm not gonna say where. She's about to put her hand on me. And then she reaches right past me, and she grabs her water bottle and her flag, because she put her flag like on the other side of me. And then I'm thinking, is this girl like trying to play with my emotions? Like, I mean, I know that she knows how attractive she is, because she, again, like even looking back now, I think she was more attractive than me. Like I know that she knows that. Now I'm at the point now where I'm just feeling like weird, like weirded out, and I just wanted to get back to practice at this point, because I was like so weird, and like I was feeling so weird, like I didn't know what to do. She just started staring at me again, and then eventually she got up, you know, took my hand, and we walked back to the band room, and it was almost just like a normal day, like went back to normal. You know, it was a normal day of practice, like it was a normal day of practice. And, you know, I saw my chances with this girl because I did not know what to say. And that's one of the reasons why I'm making this video. You know, where I went wrong was I was living in my head and not in her head. And that sounds kind of weird, but what do I mean? I was so self-conscious, and I was so scared to, like, even say anything to her that I didn't say anything at all. I was living in my head, and I wasn't asking her about herself, you know, genuinely. Like I did like throw these questions out there, but again, I was changing the subject like every like 10 seconds, which I don't know why I was doing that, but that's, if you really want to talk to someone, that's not what you do. Questions that are written down, be sure to feel free to pause this, you know, take a screenshot or do whatever you need to do, because this is what you need to do to improve your conversations with the girl. The first thing I've written down is ask genuine questions. You know, ask these genuine questions and like hear her response out. Like, be interested in her response and listen to her responses. So this way, like, you never run out of things to say, because you just like comment on what you comment genuinely on what she responded to your question. Like, share yourself, like share parts of yourself, but also don't dominate the conversation. That can be unattractive. If you take over the conversation all about yourself, and then you never ask about that other person, that can be seen as unattractive. Be respectful, you know, ask her respectful questions. Don't do like personal questions, you know, especially too early in the relationship. You gotta listen and follow up, you know, pay attention to her answers to your questions and follow up with more questions relating to that to develop the conversation. and make it fun. You know, like how I mentioned earlier, you know, when these girls first started coming up to me, I saw it as so, or pictured myself to have more interactions with these girls, or for them to like me, because I thought it sounded so out of the blue that it was unreal, but that's actually what happened. So the best way to, you know, have a conversation with someone that you find attractive is don't take it so serious. Don't live in your head and say that this is so out there that these girls would never have anything to do with me, right? You gotta like almost think of it as so like impossible that it's funny. It's also a good thing to do. You can't take the conversations that you have so serious that, you know, it's like you're trying too hard. That could be unattractive. So you just let the conversation flow. You know, play off of what she responds to your questions. You know, ask her more questions about her responses. Or, yeah, if you listen to respond and not listen to listen, you're being selfish, not selfless. So you gotta do that. Also, notice in the story where there was moments in time where there was just silence. If I never included that, you would never be able to fully absorb what I'm saying, because it's something new every, you know, this. So silence is good. It helps you and the other person to fully absorb what you guys are talking about. Before I go, I also wanted to do some dumb questions, you know. These are questions that you should never ask a girl or anyone that you find attractive, because it would quite literally have the opposite effect of whatever, you know, you're trying to do. So the first dumb question I have is ask about what she's eating or why she's eating it. Like, if you're on a date, don't like ask her, why did you order what you ordered? Like, why did you order like that on the menu besides something else? Because like she can take that as like that she made an unhealthy choice, or like you're judging what she eats, which isn't good. You know, don't also comment on her wardrobe or what she's wearing, because that can also be another thing where she can take that as a, you know, you're judging her clothes. And then last but not least, never ask her what she wants to do, because women most of the time like men to lead a decision, but also be open for conversation about your decision that you made. That's good. If you learned anything from this video, is that you have to try to make the conversation happen, and you gotta listen to what the other person says that you find attractive. Like, I know it may be a little hard to do that, especially like during the first stages, because you're so nervous, like I was. But if I learned anything, why I've been so successful with any girl I've ever talked to since then, is I became a good listener. And, you know, if someone were to like ask a question, I respond back with another question, asking her about that question, and then we basically, if you become a good listener, the conversation kind of flows easier, if that makes sense. But yeah, and if you didn't learn that, you watched a video that is a brain rot today, so I applaud you for that. But until next time, I'll see you.